Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Boone Area Chamber of Commerce, we welcome you to the Spirit of Boone Award Ceremony. Over the course of the next few minutes, we're going to recognize 9 individuals and community organizations that really make what the Spirit of Boone is all about. All of that star power right here in one room. And speaking of, our first award winners are right over here.
Hey, David.
Hey, the Kathy Crutchfield Co-Citizens of the Year.
Wow. That's pretty good.
You guys want to come inside and talk about how cool you are?
Sure. How cool are we? Are we cool? How's that? I didn't think so. Thank you, sir.
The Boone Area Chamber of Commerce presents the Kathy Crutchfield Citizen of the Year Award to an individual who exemplifies a selfless work ethic while impacting and supporting a broad array of community partners. This award is presented by Beach Mountain Resort. This year, instead of one Citizen of the Year, we have 2 longtime community connectors, Bill Fisher and Tom Lanier of High Country Radio.
I think we both just realized that there are certain things that you as a listener would like to hear. So that's kind of what it's all about, letting people know what's going on in the community. If there's something that's of importance in terms of traffic or weather, give the listener what you'd like to get as a listener yourself.
When the mic is on and the light comes on, as you say, you are on. And if you're not necessarily feeling well, or you had a rough night the night before, didn't sleep well, which was common for those who get up at 4 a.m., couldn't let it show. It's when the job is on.
I think a lot of us, when we get into radio, we're just kind of enamored with the idea of being in radio. I remember distinctly when I was about 4 or 5 years old, underneath the house at our place in Statesville with my first cousin and a wooden dowel, a little piece of wood, pretending that was the microphone. In interviewing my first cousin, it's a whole growth process where you come to a point where you realize you're having fun with what you're doing, but then you realize that you're doing something that's important. So you kind of feel an obligation to let the listener know what they need to know and let them hear what's important to the community.
Some of the interviews that we've done over the years, I think, are the highlight. We had fun doing something and got paid for it, and no one figured out our scam.
This community that we have served all these years is just so special. I'm really moved and very gratified to know that people in an organization like the Boone Area Chamber of Commerce that I have been such a champion of all the time and such a great admirer, very gratified and flattered that they would make this big a fuss over us.
That's it. That's it. We thank you for the connections.
Hey, Fish, Tom, before you guys leave, you guys are seasoned professionals. Would you help us unveil the other 8 awards?
Sure.
I'll have my manager draw up a contract.
All right, well, the contract's right
All
over
right,
here.
let's go.
The everGREEN Award for Sustainability is presented to a business, organization, project, or person who has furthered the inclusion and integration of sustainable development principles. This annual award is sponsored by Mass General Store. This year's honoree is the new AppalCART EV bus fleet.
Well, this is the first step towards having an electric fleet. This one's helping us transition from our diesel fleet to electric, making us a more sustainable part of the community, helping move forward with the plans that the university has and the town has and the county has to meet their sustainability goals. It's got a 440 kilowatt hour battery on it. It's capable of 550 horsepower for the bus. It pull any hill we put it on in Boone, and it's hauled any load that we've put on it so far. So it's been great. I think it's helped the public realize that AppalCART is a transit system just like any urban transit system, and we do many of the same things. I think a lot of people that may not have thought about using transit before are thinking about using AppalCART just to try out the electric bus. I also think it sends the message to the community that, hey, we're about improving the environment for Boone. Any people that we can get to ride the bus, that's another car off the streets of Boone, helping alleviate congestion, helping reduce the carbon footprint for our region.
The Sue W. Wilmoth Award for the Advancement of Tourism is named for the former chamber director who used her influence in tourism promotion to capitalize on the region's natural resources while balancing progress with preservation. The award is sponsored annually by the Boone and Watauga County Tourism Development Authorities. This year, we are proud to recognize Denise Ringler.
Nearly nearly 29 years, I've had the privilege of serving as the Director of Arts Engagement and Cultural Resources here at Appalachian. And arts engagement is the term that we use to describe the performing and visual arts programming that we do involving visiting artists who appear at either the Schaefer Center for the Performing Arts or the Turchin Center for the Visual Arts. What's been amazing to me as I'm now headed into retirement, what will be some of my cherished memories will be the experience of working with the talented staff teams of both those areas, the Schaefer Center team and the Turchin Center team. Their skill and expertise and commitment and drive is extraordinary. What we try to do is start with the audiences, and we always strive to diversify our audiences. We know that we ultimately serve students, faculty, and staff, the university community, being a university arts presenter, but we also think really carefully about the external audiences, the community members. Boone and the High Country are such a rich environment for the arts. I think there are so many things. I always think of an Appalachian Summer Festival as kind of a wonderful example of how a university can come together with the local community and with private supporters to create something really unique and special.
The Alfred Adams Award for Economic Development recognizes individuals and/or organizations who have worked for the orderly growth and development of Boone and Watauga County. Alfred Adams served as a local banker and prominent community organizer. He provided influence on many chamber committees in the organization's formative years. This award is sponsored annually by Wells Fargo. This year's recipient is the Squatchy staff of Appalachian FC.
I think we all started off with a dream and didn't know how any of it was going to work out, and I think it's grown more than I think any of us could have ever imagined. Right now, season ticket sales are exceeding what we had last year. Up to this point has gone according to plan. I think it started off with just a couple people. The Squatch Guard, Brent James and Emily Morris, are a big part of that, and I think they grew a group of supporters that people wanted to be around and people wanted to support, their group as well as our teams. To see the crowd grow from 1,000 people to averaging over 2,000 people last year, and I think we had 2,800 peak and over 60 sponsors. That's the biggest thing, is having the local businesses involved. The more sponsors, the bigger the fan base gets, it's just going to grow even more. The support that we've had since day one is humbling. We've got Jump Boone that comes out and creates the kid zone and the fan zone over on the other field at Ted Mack, and we've got the merchandise tent set up. There's something for everybody to do, from 2 years old up into the older ages, and so it's not just a game, it's more of a community event, and you'll see everybody at the games. It's unfortunate that it's so short of a season, but we make the most of it and do it the best we can do.
The Baker Jones Woman of the Year Award is named for longtime Chamber volunteers Jillian Baker and Susan Jones. This award honors an inspiring member who exemplifies the qualities of leadership, mentorship, and community involvement. This award is co-sponsored annually by UNC Health Appalachian and Blue Ridge Energy. Our honoree for 2023 is Mary-Louise Roberts.
To me, being a leader is to help bring people together for the betterment of the community, for the betterment of the bank, for the betterment of each other. That to me is the identification of what supposedly a good leader is. Getting involved with the people, understanding what's important to them. If I were to talk to somebody and say, what do you want in life? What do you need? What's important to you? The more you talk to people and you listen, you can hear what really means a lot to them, what their needs are, and then if you can kind of craft that into things that I can assist with, that's a win-win for everybody. But to me, the fun is to try to work things out. I think women, including me, need to become more confident. We need to learn how to network better. And that was one of the reasons Watauga Women in Leadership started 10 years ago. I think younger people, the careers, they go out and it's not the same as it was back then. They create their own career. They are self-starters. The younger people today create their own business. They use their own ideas. They don't get into the framework we had back in the day. I think it's a better type of career. I have to have something to do in the morning. I want to get out of bed and I'll say, okay, today I'm going to do so-and-so. I'm going to see somebody and they've got something they want to bounce off of me, and that's what I look forward to.
The Ben Suttle Special Services Award is named for the former Boontown councilman and recognizes the spirit of volunteerism in the community. This award is presented annually by Green Construction Incorporated. This year's honoree is J.P. Pardy for his work on the Boone Skate Park.
Basically, just in the skateboarding community in Boone, we've been back and forth through spots of where we could go and skateboard, whether it was the old Boone DIY spot at the old high school or the previous skate park in 2006. Basically nowhere to go for skateboarders. Once we lost the Boone DIY, it was kind of go time and we had to have another spot. It was just so good and the skate community was kind of thriving and it was hard to let that go. So first steps was, how do I go about even having the conversations of doing so? So we started a committee called the Crutchfield Committee, which allowed me to start being able to go to a lot of the town meetings. Started with like the Sustainable Transportation Committee meetings. That's when I started being like, town needs a skate park, we need somewhere to go, we need to be able to use skateboards as transportation as well. And we started looking at land options. There was not a lot of that. Got on Google Maps, started, where can we find what little tiny section of grass that could be potentially used. I just remember looking at this spot and coming up here, and it became one of the options. We got a little bit of money from the town. They supplied the land, which was awesome. And then $25,000, which helped go to site prep. From there, we raised pretty much the rest of that money through community, doing events, being able to come here by yourself, any age group, any diversity, any gender. It's like skateboarding's for everybody. It's crazy when you have 8-year-old kid, 16, 25, 45. Very awesome to be able to get this place to have where people can come at any time, you know.
The Dan Meyer Community Partnership Award recognizes a community leader for their efforts to bring multiple parties together for a common cause. Meyer served as president and CEO of the Chamber for 12 years before retiring in August of 2016. The award is sponsored annually by Life Store Bank. This year's award goes to a trio of partners who helped further broadband connectivity in remote areas of Watauga County. They are the Watauga County Board of Commissioners, Blue Ridge Energy, and Skyline Skybest.
As many know, for 20 plus years, there's always been a broadband issue for a lot of parks out in the county. So again, with the money coming available and the partnership with Ringler and Skyline, we thought it'd be a great opportunity to utilize our ARP funding to provide that broadband service out into the community. As you all know, during the pandemic, there was a major issue for people to be able to work from home, and that was really amplified the shortage that we had out there, the inability for people to get broadband. So again, I think spending the ARP money allows the opportunity for us to get that out into the community.
Well, we're an electric utility. We've been here for 60 years, and we know the people, we know the land, we have the poles and the wires, and we have the relationship with Watauga County and with Skyline Telephone. So I really want to thank Darren and the county commissioners for including us in this, but we're just a natural fit because we've been here so long and know the people and really want economic development and make life better for our members that are touched by fiber to the home.
This is the type of folks that we've served for 70 years. So Skyline got started in 1951 and was based on taking care of the rural customer. So it was a perfect fit for us from that aspect because we knew that there's parts of Watauga County that wanted our service, frankly. Because of COVID, we started getting tons of requests from those folks. The opportunity to work with Watauga and to work with Blue Ridge to actually serve those customers, it just fits perfect with what our actual goal is.
One of the strongest pushes we've had in Watauga is shopping locally. And part of that is consumer shopping, but a lot of that has to do with county shopping. As Watauga County has become a landing spot for many people, we understand that a lot of folks like to work from home, and we'd like those individuals to be able to locate anywhere in Watauga County and do their job, have the access to service that every other citizen has. So we're really pleased at what we've been able to accomplish to this point.
The Wade Brown Award for Community Involvement is the Chamber's oldest award, dating back to 1979. Named after the first recipient of the honor, this award recognizes a significant contribution through community engagement. The award is sponsored annually by Boone Golf Club. This year, we recognize Suzanne Livesay of the Appalachian Theater.
Every other person that walks into this building has a story, whether it's coming to the Dollar Theater when they were in college, coming and holding hands for the first time in the balcony when they were kids. Every other person has a story, and I feel like it's an opportunity for folks to engage with the arts now. So I kind of joke about either creating history reminded of the history that you had in the past or creating history and memories now. Arts are so much part of my story. It was my people. Children's theater growing up in Florida, high school theater. It paid for college for me. Musical theater paid for college, literally. And so being involved in theater and music my entire life provided an opportunity for me to kind of propel to the next level. And it meant being able to teach and being able to just experience life in a different way through the arts. And my whole life's goal after teaching for just a little while was to share that with the next generation. When you drive down this street and this place is lit up, I don't think this town's complete without it. And I'm a newbie, so I don't know if it's okay for me to say that. But I don't think this town is complete without a theater on the corner. And having it lit up the way that it is, and people coming and going, people like to call it the community's living room. And I don't think a community is the same without having a place to gather, similar to what we magically have here.
The Elizabeth Young Award for Community Leadership is presented to a person or organization whose leadership has been pivotal to maintaining the health and vibrancy of our community. The award recognizes leadership that rises above the work of any one business or agency in order to unite and mobilize business, government, nonprofit, and civic partners toward an improved quality of life for our entire community. This award is sponsored annually by Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Vincent Properties. This year's honoree is Lisa Cooper, president of Mass General Store.
Community leadership is doing anything you can to make a difference in the community you live in. Through the passions that you have, there's so many people in this community that we're blessed to have making a difference day after day. But to go way back and growing up in this community, it was far different than where we are today as a company. Living on top of the original Storm Valley cruises when my parents were living basically paycheck to paycheck or customer to customer, they didn't have much to give back. And so I think an appreciation of working so hard to get to where they are today. The first moment they could get back, they did. They looked at what was first important, childcare, human needs, so much in the local community that they took the opportunity to give where they could, and it was inspirational. Knowing what the company does for its employees and communities and all the places that we have stores in drove me to help see what we could do to get it back. I look at people in this community and I'm so grateful that so many people step up when it's needed to make a difference in the lives of others here. When our doors were shut, Elizabeth came in and said, "You guys have done so much for us. What can I do for you?" That's what this neighborhood does, community does, is if somebody needs help, you help them. And she was the fearless leader and never-ending giver to this community and making a difference in the lives of others. I'm teared up over the award and the emotion behind it, and we're all gonna miss her.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in recognizing the 2023 Boone Area Chamber of Commerce Community Award recipients.